Hi, welcome to the World Peace Organization for the One World Government, our YouTube channel. My name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. And today I'd like to share with you some information about the conference in Europe, an event that's going to be happening down the road, like maybe we're estimating maybe 5 years down the road from right now. And I know that it sounds kind of odd to announce something that's going to happen 5 years from now, but what it will do is it will allow us to, let's say, put the world leaders on notice that this event is going to happen, and that we are now starting to create a sense of energy for it, a sense of motivation, a sense of movement towards that goal that we have. We can push off from where we are now and to create that will lead to this event. And it's probably going to be one of the biggest events in the history of the world. We are inviting the world leaders to come together to a conference where we're going to introduce this idea of the international government, and then it will be the people will be hosting this event, a trickle up idea rather than world peace being a trickle down idea, because the trickle down idea never has worked very well. There's too many obstacles, power grabs, and things like that, where people just are not, the world leaders are not willing to participate. Right now, they have their own agendas when they're coming into office, and some of them just are in there to stay as long as they can. Okay, so we're talking about an event where the people are behind this. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of this idea, and then just to open it up to debate and say that this is what our goal is in 5 years. We have a 5-year plan, and then I'll keep filling you in on more information as we go, and then we'll step back and we'll have other events, and then that will lead to that, and then you'll be able to see that it's possible. Like I said, the world leaders are not coming, and they're not going to sit down with a treaty and come up with a plan for world peace, because peace has to come from the people when the people are ready for it to happen. And there's so many people around the world that have been praying for world peace, and that's why it can come now. Half the population of the planet has prayed for peace and can come. So technically speaking, you could say that once we have a plan that benefits everyone, then we have half the population of the planet that's willing to go along with this. So that's why I'm putting this on the internet now and on our YouTube channel, so it can be shared. You can share this with other people who basically don't see the potential of an idea to come about. The conference in Europe will be, the reason it's in Europe is because you could say that the history involved with this idea, there is a need for it, considering what's happening now between Russia and Ukraine. The ideas, I'm not going to go into how we're dealing with the conflicts. That'll be one of the steps that we do between now and then. But what the conference will do, it'll be a month-long session, a month-long event, a summit, you could say, where all the world leaders are invited to come, but it'll be the people who invite the world leaders to come. It won't be like us issuing an invitation. It will be, we are going to, I'm not responsible for that part of it, but what will happen is the people will get an invitation, and then that will, and on the same day, the invitation will have a date on it, and on that date, all the world leaders will be asked by their own people to sign that, and then let's say make some sort of a presentation to the people, and then that will give them the opportunity to draw together a time period where they will be able to come up with their delegation. And then the delegation will meet at this conference event at that point in time. So the invitations will go to the people, and then each of the countries, and then that will go be given to them to give to their leaders, their leaders, and then that the people who are responsible for that will also be invited to the conference as, let's say, watchdogs of the organization. The other people who will be involved besides the world leaders will be amongst their delegation will be the people to help create the branches of the international government based on the Constitution. So the Constitution, our Constitution, has 3 branches to it: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. So those 3 branches will have people that for the delegation, and then there's going to be 11 departments, and I'll go into that later. The departments will include, like, the Department of the Environment, so that can handle, the world leaders can just take the issues like climate change and turn it over to the experts of it, and the experts will work as advisors to the branches. Then they have to come up with the solutions, rather than, let's say, the world leaders saying, well, we have to come up with climate change, but we're not going to listen to the experts. We'll listen to experts, but then we have our own agendas. It doesn't work, this trickle-down idea. So we're going to enable them to come up with their own ideas, their own delegations, their own departments, and every department of the 11 departments will have people, the experts from their own country, and they'll be able to create their own autonomous department as working as advisors to that. And that is a much better way to solve the problems than what we have right now. They can just turn responsibility over to them, and then they will handle this. Another group of people will be, like I said, the facilitators. Our organization are going to host it. We will be hosting it, but the facilitators will also be there. And then probably the most fun thing that we're going to have, besides having meetings during the day, will be the cultural events. They'll be able to, all the countries will be invited to have a cultural event, and then this cultural event will show that respect for each of the different cultures, and because each culture and religion has a right to be respected. So that's basically an idea. One other small little offshoot from that will be a group of people who help to start writing the Constitution for the international government. We'll get together and work on setting up this group of people who will work on that, and the Constitution will, after it goes through everything, and people all over the world, everybody will have the right to have a say in the Constitution. It will not be forced on anybody. They will start with writing the Constitution, and one of the classes that we're going to have, and one of the books that I have channeled, is on how to write a Constitution. So because this is based on it's not the U.S. Constitution, it's the basis for it, but it's not the U.S. Constitution that is going to be like foisted on the rest of the world. The rest of the world will help write the Constitution. The delegates from each country will help to write it, and then it will be given, people will be exposed to it and have the right to comment on it, and it will not be signed into law until everybody agrees to it. And people will have the right to have a voice in writing the Constitution, what they accept about it and what is not acceptable. So this is going to it'll take time. And like I said, we have a 5-year plan for this, but it might not be ratified. It might not become accepted and signed into law, into existence in maybe 20 years from now. But right now, it has to go through all of these stages. So we have, let's say, a 20-year plan, a transition plan to it too. And other things are going to be happening in that time period. So everything, when you like, share, and subscribe this video, you are going to be opening the debate on the creation of an international government. That's why what we're doing is so important, and what your role in this is important. The International Supreme Court, anybody will have the right to take an issue to the Supreme Court. You know, right now it seems like there's a two-level, in the United States, there seems like there's a two-level legal system. Well, on the international level, there won't be a two-level legal system. It will be the way it is set up over the next several years. It's just the one level situation. So we're coming up with, before we can do that, we have to purify the legal system and address issues that are causing chaos here, and then so they don't cause chaos on the international level. So all the things that have been happening around the world that seem to be so devastating and so terrifying to people, so oppressive, we're going to be working to purify those ideas too. So we'll be looking at this first issue is stepping back to have something to push off from, and that's the idea. As we walk forward, we'll be pushing off from this idea of this conference in Europe, and that will allow us to take the steps at the conference in Europe. Our original, we're going to host the first one and then turn responsibility over to them to bring it about, because they're the ones who have the power. The average people, we don't have power. We give our power over to our leaders. Every government, no matter how oppressive or what form of government, it derives its power from the people. So now you have the power to assume responsibility to open this up to debate and to become aware of what it is that's happening, aware and informed about this, so that you can have a voice in your government, which is one of your unalienable rights that come from our Creator, to have a voice in our government. Right now, many, many things are happening around the world about this. People are aware of the plan. There's been resistance to the plan, but now by making this statement about the conference in Europe, we can go forward. And I have created a website on this, and I'll put the link in below so that you can see what the website looks like and how it will be modified. The substance won't change, but the website will be changed as things evolve, and you'll be able to be aware of it so that you're always aware of it. And I'll also keep doing videos of it, because I'm going to be one of the speakers at the conference in Europe. I already have some of my speeches all ready to go. So our day, well, I should tell you about how it's going, what each day is going to be like. So whenever we have an event, since I'm a speaker, whenever we have an event like this, like a training session, it's always the same format. We start the day with everybody together, and we have like a way of turning people around using this is a term that has different connotations, but sophistry, where people are you could say where it turns people around and makes them think about what they're doing and from different perspectives. And each time we move people around just a little bit like the opposite of gaslighting, where you kind of narrow people's perspective. We want to widen people's perspective. And the lectures will at the conference will not be they will be, there won't be any media there allowed in the building, but the lectures, after the lecture is over, will be released for people in a written form, will be released so that people can read what it is that they are hearing, what the world leaders are hearing. So the day will start with this short lecture, a speech that I give, and several other people are going to be there. And then we are going to have, people will break apart. The delegates there'll be the branches will go into different rooms. The departments will go into their own rooms, and then there's going to be, the facilitators will be working in there to keep the conversations on topic, only on the topic of the lecture. And then as people break apart, it'll be there. Then after that time period is over, they'll have the time, let's say until lunchtime, and then people will be able to go and do whatever they want. They'll be able to go into the city and experience the culture of that area. No, I retract that. There will be the cultural event there, and then after that they're free to go. And then in the evening, I'll be hosting a dinner party for each of where I have access to people and can answer questions with each of the different branches and departments. It'll be a month long, and we'll have dinner parties in the East to answer questions. The speakers and I will do that. So I'll talk about the speakers later, when down the road a little bit. It's really not appropriate. Time is not for that yet. So then, before that, the whole thing starts. We'll have a travel days where people will all come together and go through registration. They'll get their packets of information and such. We have to deal with security issues and such. And then, but we're going to have an opening reception for everybody to come, and the world leaders and the leaders will also be able to bring their families along with it too, and they can go out and spend time in the city and go to certain events. So I get to go to certain events too, and then talk about that too. We'll share like a travel experience, and we can go on from that point. Anyway, that is basically what the conference in Europe will be like, and there's going to be everybody together in the morning, opening debate, and then everybody will be invited to this cultural event, including families. And so we estimate there might be up to 4,000 or 5,000 people who are going to come to this event. But the media will not be invited. There will be books, photographers, our organization photographers will take pictures of it going on, and then at the same time we'll talk about our projects, and we'll introduce the projects ideas to them, the world leaders at the event also, so that they can they'll be able to go through like the home show events, the shows where they can pick and choose what events are, what project ideas they would like to choose from, and then each of those project ideas will carry them forward. They can take them, they can arrange for the project ideas to be, which is just an idea, and then our project teams will go into their country and 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 then they can have the events there. And one of our events, I'm just going to give you just a little hint. One of those project ideas is the first cultural event will be one that our organization puts on, and that is a play that is in the works, where our people bring in it will be a play that is from our group, and then the other people they'll be able to see what we are doing, so that one of our teams will be able to we're pushing off from one of our events now, and that play will be, I'm going to call it a top secret event, so you can look forward to lots of fun things and events, and governments being able to contract with our project teams. They'll be able to go there and share all this information. So like I said, this is a pushing off time period where we're announcing these events, and this is what our plan is, and we're going to move forward. The events that are happening in the world right now are showing us that, like I said, the trickle-down idea doesn't work, but what will work is the trickle-up idea when people are ready, and people like around the world, where they're very unhappy about how their governments are running. There's been the schism. There's been a lot of conflict, the rise of authoritarianism, the threat to democracy, these end-time ideas that are very oppressive to people. But now we're starting into a new level, a new cycle in the world, and we can create whatever we want. But it's going to take everybody being part of the debate and telling us what we want and what we don't want. That's important. So that's the job you have in World Peace, is being watchdogs of what's going on, and join the debate and share with your friends and relatives, and then I will do my part by keeping you informed and giving you a general idea of what's going on. So the conference in Europe is the first step in the 5-year plan, but it might take 20 years for it to come about, but that's okay, because the debate is what's important, and that's the role you play in this. So please like, share, and subscribe. And then the funding that comes from YouTube will also help us pay for this idea. And basically, that is where you can help being part of that idea, just by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Okay, so thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for sharing this with other people and being part of the debate. In the future, we'll have other ways to do this, and I'll keep on focusing on this idea right now. So thank you.